Shall we get started?
Yeah.
Whoop, wrong one. All right. Hey everyone. Welcome to Granblue Radio. This is a twice delayed episode 310. The
I
co-host,
was sick.
co-host DJ was sick, and there was so much to talk about that I didn't want to do it alone. Um,
A
because
lot of people
there's
thought you were the ones sick, by the way.
that's fine. Let them think that. It it lets me take a break a little bit. I
Well, one of them was almond, so
Oh, that's true. All right, so here we go. Welcome to Granblue Radio number 310. Today was not Friday in California. The episode title has been changed, if you refresh the page, to The Night of Fire, because we have ourselves a little bit of an issue that happened last night. Um, so for the second time that I can think of since not November, it was September 2021, they had to suspend Unite and Fight for errors that were happening. Like, we noticed that they were happening pretty early, but I was able to fight through it. You weren't able to fight through it, right? You were only able to like do EX Plus and not Nightmare or something like that.
it eventually became only EX pluses. Yes.
hmm So I was able to encounter the error, hit OK, and then get to where I was. Um, but yeah, so a little under 2 hours into Unite and Fight, they pulled the plug on GBF for what? It was until 1 in the morning for their time, and I was asleep by then, so 1:30 their time, 10. It was about a 3-hour maintenance, 3.5 hours of emergency maintenance. Um, and so here's the big scramble that they've been having to do, the big fire drill. Um, so they originally said that they were pushing everything back a day. It was going to end on the 16th instead of the 15th. Um,
hmm
And they just announced actually about an hour ago that due to a lot of feedback from players, they're going to instead do what they did in September 2021 when they had to cut a day of Unite and Fight. Coincidentally, I believe it was also Fire Unite and Fight last time.
Probably
Uh,
was.
but anyway, uh, they've now made it so that interval day is gone. The interval day is gone. We have a 1 day delayed um, prelude, we have our battles as usual, and then we have the final rally, and then we have our usual day off between the end of Unite and Fight and what is now going to be the beginning of Xeno reruns. Um, and like the whole thing that we're doing is that so I was able to open 12 boxes actually on day one. I know this because of my count of New World Quartz. So the New World Quartz stays. Um, the things that I have opened stay. Honors are reset. Meat is reset. Um, Tokens, I believe they said would stay, but missions are reset. And so I was able to get 2,700 meat, and it's now down to 150. You made around what 500 meat or something, and you're about down to 150. Like, does that 2 hours of lost time mean anything to you, or are you just gonna shrug, wake up tomorrow, and then do it again, but with and just do what you would have done on a regular prelim day and just pretend that interval day never actually existed?
I'm just gonna shrug.
Yeah. All right. So
Wait, so
uh,
they're not resetting boxes?
they're not resetting boxes.
That makes
Um,
sense.
yeah. And so I'm still going to be set on New World Quartz, I believe, and I'll be on box 13 when this starts up again in a few hours. What we got for this is the 3,300 crystals, 300 berries, 100 elixirs. Um, the amount that we spent is supposed to be refunded at some point for elixirs, which is good because I spent a lot during that period. We start with a head start of 100 tokens, 25 badges just to make up for what we're going to have to do again. And
hmm
then yeah, the 150 bait chunk head start for those of us who on a normal Unite and Fight day and Unite and Fight. I usually get around 6K for that, and that is enough to get me into the top 80K.
I don't.
Yeah. Um, Point is, that does say a lot about Unite and Fight if it's that big of a scheduling deal. Yeah. The players who want to top rank, the interval day does matter a lot. We're gonna see that effect at the top. People who play normally, like you know, regular old grinders like us, I guess, won't really notice the difference. We'll just shrug and do it again, I guess. It's
It's important for a top end, especially since today was a weekend. Tomorrow's a holiday, isn't it? Or
so
was that Friday last week?
today technically is the holiday in Japan. It is coming of age day. So they
Okay.
have today off.
So yeah, that mattered a lot for them.
Well, today interval was going to be tomorrow anyway. Today was still going to today was originally what was going to be interval time, and now
Yeah,
it's
but interval
prelims.
is the gain resources part.
Yeah, exactly. So there's no like second day to just refarm things up. We're gonna have to concentrate this again into those 4 days. Um, yeah, like the the team has talked before. Like I listened to a tech talk by Cygames talking about how hard Unite and Fight is on their servers. Like their servers are pretty much at 100 times normal load, if not more than that, during Unite and Fight. And so like it's not surprising that this kind of thing happens. Um, we're also coming off of a big uh, giveaway event, which always spikes player numbers. And so, September last year was also coming off of a big summer giveaway, and so well, not last year, 2021. I have to mentally make sure that my brain is in 2023 because I'm definitely in 2022 still. But yeah, um, this sucks. I wish it was otherwise. I hope that Unite and Fight gets continually shrunk down in importance. But well, here we are. Yeah, bless their logistics team. Seriously. Um, but yeah, hopefully when the servers get slammed again, uh, we're in a better spot. Anything else about this, or should we just move on?
Move on.
All right. So we have a lot to talk about in terms of releases because when us missing that episode means that we missed the New Year's releases. So let's go talk about characters and summons who just came out. So we have ourselves. We're gonna start with Michael. So um, Michael is the start of a new series. Like, remember when Fediel was the first of the six dragons who came out as a character, right?
Correct.
And we were just like, holy crap, this is what they're all gonna be like. And that's what they've all been like so far, with a little asterisk next to Ewiar, who hasn't been a grand. But the first thing to talk about with Michael as the new series, so we've finally gotten the playable Primarchs, the Archangels. People have been waiting for this for years. Like, what makes the Sky Blue years? And the things
I'm
that
just that she doesn't have a gun.
everybody was so sad about that. There's also the fact that she has a spear in her hands. Or actually, no, that's an axe. That's her own axe, but she is
That's
not
an
axe
axe.
specialty. I got hit by the mix-up because it has a pointy thing coming out, and then it has the axe part coming down, and that makes it a halberd, which in Granblue Fantasy history it can be either of these things. But anyway, so we're gonna start down at Photia Arche. So she, as a backline or frontline passive, gives you the Willness sub aura with an asterisk, because Willness is fire, hellfire, and inferno, which are the three Agni words,
There's one more word here. Iron Flame.
which is the Colossus word, which actually does a lot for Colossus. Like Magna, before people were like, "Oh yeah, the new Magna grid, you just add in the Percival sword, and then because Percival sword just does so much, and I believe it's EX still, and then you're just like, yeah, this is still Magna. We have our like 4 Eke Sacs, and then we add in however many Lords of Flames. This actually does a lot in terms of it means that those 4 Eke Sacs actually have 100% crit before there was a gap. There was a chance not to crit. So this actually, if you have Michael in your back line or in your front line, actually gives Magna a whole bit.
Yep. And this is on the character.
Mm-hmm. And
The summon
so
slots are getting also crowded.
yeah, we're getting to extremely crowded character slots again. But let's go take a look at fire characters who have a submember effect. So fire, it's actually not that crowded. You have like Frau and Alanon, you know exactly when those two will be useful to you in the backline. Tien's backline passive is for drop rate. We have Crest. Um, I believe Anna is also
She's
she's
singed.
singed. And then I don't remember what Shion's backline passive
Chain
is.
burst.
Ah, okay. And so like for when it comes to Michael, Michael becomes like a slot everywhere. But then let's take a look at this same filter. We're not even going to worry about water. Water's already known to be crowded. Like look at Earth and its backline passive characters. Like Earth has way more. A lot of them are crest based.
The
But
Altus is Team MC.
yeah. Uh, DLF DLFE over here is a matter of just giving you casino chips at the end of combat. But like Kaim has pre-Galleon staff dominated the back line of Earth teams for years. So what happens when Uriel comes out? Where do you fit if you're still on Kaim Earth? Or is this like your kick in the ass to upgrade to Galleon staff grid, right?
It
Yeah.
depends. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. But this is the first the shot across the bow, right? Of just like, hey, this is probably what all of the Primarchs as characters are going to do. So anyway, let's go back to Michael. There's a lot more that's actually going on with this character, but this is the one that we can fully expect all of them to do. All right, where do you want to start with the rest of this character?
Don't know. Yeah,
All
you
right.
go.
All right. So the other support skill is the other thing that I usually go to when we're talking about these things. So she has a variation on like an Earth Satyr style of thing. So whenever any fire ally uses their charge attack, she gets one unique stack of Acrixie, and that goes up to 9, just like Satyr. Um, to activate her skill, because it does more, it uses 3 of them. And so you'll want to be CAing as often as possible, so that you can get Fotia Dinata, her skill 3, at the end of the turn. And that skill 3 is exactly what her summon does. It does plane damage, it delays, and it eats a buff.
Yep.
The
It's really
4-star
good.
thing, yeah, the 4-star thing is missing. The uplift, but hey, that we're gonna get to that. But this thing's really good to cast as often as possible. So you want to just get her to CA her or any other characters to CA as often as possible. And she has support for that because this goes to skill 1. Skill 1
On a 9-turn cooldown.
on a 9-turn cooldown gives another fire ally CA reactivation and full meter. So that's
So
2
that's
of them right
2
there.
of them.
Yep. Her own CA gives the uplift that we were talking about. That's on her summon.
It also gives 30% fire attack up. That's important for a different thing we're talking about later.
Yeah. So there's that package, and then the last bit here is that she has one of those fire allies buffs that goes away once they take enough damage. And this one is they get Chaser. They get
Chaser's 20%
they get their wind damage capped at 10k.
per hit.
And then they get the following things boosted: CA damage cap, and
CA damage is 30%. Cap up is 10%,
then the charge bar gain.
which is 30%.
So combined with that entire package, she supports an auto attack team and a CA team very well. skill. She does not support skill team, while also being pretty good in skill team, just being uh like just a source of all of these different kinds of buffs. So like she does not directly support that third style of fire. But one thing that's missing from this kit, something that I think is a both significant and also kind of necessary hole, is that she doesn't support autos it by providing any kind of multi-attack, and she doesn't have any multi-attack herself. Like Michael appears to have like Toyan levels of single attack syndrome, and so like when it comes to her giving herself meter, that is a big hole, and so you want to feed her as much meter as possible so that you can maintain the uplift. That's what keeps you going with the it's what maintains the uplift. It's what keeps you having these buffs on you. It's what keeps you casting Fodia Dinata as many times as possible. And so, like the usual Kengo thing is going on, sure, but there's a lot of other characters that she works really well with. Um, so, we're talking about like working well with Percival because all of the extra attacks and the uplift benefits him a lot. She works well with Wilness because Wilness wants CA support. Um, like there's a lot of characters that work really, really well with her. Without her being like the centerpiece of a team that you need to have out. So, yeah, people are talking about like Medusa, for example. Medusa wants as much meter as possible so that she can continue CAing and keeping your team safe. And that mirror image, if the mirror image works against the boss, will protect your Ignis ward. And so there's that's going back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
Um, or, you know, there's just all sorts of characters that she works with. She works with Kumbira without the skill part because Kumbira triple attacks all the time. Um, like basically, like I said, the only characters that you won't want her to support are the ones who are doing nothing but skill checking. Like Luffy barely needs her, but Luffy's so good that I just use the two of them together anyway, and they're part of my new Raw team. So anyway, um, this is just a really cool kit, and I'm glad that it started with Michael. I'm worried about what happens when we get to Gabriel because Gabriel's summon effect is the one that I've used it the most behind Michael, to be fair. But also, um, water doesn't need characters to give you
Well,
fire cut.
you don't want like a third Lily.
How many lilies do we have, DJ? We have so many. Oh
Uh,
boy. So there's Europa.
I'm just like focusing on Basilica right now, and like the only character I can think of that could safely use it is Valentine's Medusa, since
Hmm.
she has innate ways to dodge and not take damage.
Yeah, protecting this one doesn't really like yeah, Summer Medusa with this is like super good, but honestly, like Basilica I don't think is something that's meant to stay up for very long because so many wind bosses hit AoE. Um like who gives you a consistent shield all the time? It's basically like certain MC main hands.
Valentine's Medusa.
Yeah, that's fair. But anyway, so two amazing support skills, two amazing abilities, and a huge effect on CA. And like this is what we're going to start expecting from this series. Like when Uriel's gonna come in and he's going to fight. Like if he just has the straight up button to do his summon call and give everybody 30 meter, and then there's a way to make him auto cast it. Oh baby. Like there's already a shell that does all of that, and he would probably eat Valentine's Monica's spot. But we'll
I
find out
don't
when that
want this.
happens.
I actually
Yeah,
don't want this.
yeah, we'll see what happens. Like I said, we'll see what happens with this. Um, so let's see. Next up, do you want to go to the character that got a 5-star and is her direct successor, or do you want to go to one of the other characters who was released?
Let's go Shiva.
All right. So Shiva's uncap got here a couple days ago, and Shiva was very strong when he came out, and then there's a few things that Shiva did that have been updated since then, but Shiva was one of the first to do them. What I'm looking at is specifically Dance of Nataraja with the low charge bar gain, amplified normals, um, and then based on his stacking thing, he would get attack, defense, and triple attack up. Since Shiva came out, this has turned into triple attacks all the time with low charge bar gain or zero charge bar gain. But Shiva was sort of a prototype here. And since then, yeah, a lot of the time and design upgrades for what GBF considers safe has advanced along. So this 5-star was seen as an opportunity to update a kit that once was strong and is no longer. So the new things. So Shiva always had 2 different CAs, depending on whether or not his inner eye was open, and the inner eye opened upon CAing the first time. People would complain, by the way, because the inner eye opening was the same as summoning Shiva, where it would uncap his damage. This ability down here that gives him tank and counter would sometimes eat it with the counter. That hasn't changed.
Yeah.
But anyway, the inner eye gives a sharp boost to the next charge attack, though, so that's good. So anyway, all right. So now it gives a 1-turn cut to his skill cooldowns. His skill cooldowns are pretty long by modern standards because his Tandava buff is 2 out of 7. So lowering this is very, very welcome.
Let's see here. Brahma and Rudra is 5 out of 11.
Mm-hmm.
Trishula is a 7-turn cooldown.
Yeah. Brahma and Rudra is sort of the thing that he was still kept around for the damage cap up to everybody for
And
5
perpetuity
turns.
modifiers, yeah.
Yeah. So then that's his level 80 update. Also the second one gives him 2 extra stacks of Ruin Maker. So now instead of going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then he stops there, he goes 1, 4, 5, 8, 9, 10.
Well, he until level 90, he will stop there.
Yeah, until level 90 he stops at 5. The thing is that a lot of the time this was really hard to get to 5 in the first place because of his low meter gain. And so the updated passive, which is 95. Well, okay, let's get to level 90 then. Well, actually,
level 90 is Dance of Nataraja.
yeah.
Nataraja.
Level 90 is Dance of Nataraja. So Ruin Maker's max goes to 10.
It gains the defense and charge bar gain, as well as DA, I believe, just in case.
TA. Yeah, it's just TA.
Just
no
TA.
DA on there. So attack, defense. All right. So.
Oh, and then it updates the TA,
the numbers.
Actually.
Numbers per, yeah. So attack goes to 10% per stack. Defense goes to 10% per stack. Well, it starts at 10% per stack. Triple attack is 10% per stack, and then charge
as
bar
opposed
gain.
to 5% before.
Oh, yeah. The charge bar gain is a big one for him. Every time he CAs, he gains more charge bar. So I think he gains like 65% of normal. Then the first time he CAs, he'll gain 75% of normal. The second time he CAs, he will now get 105% of normal meter gain, which is he gains meter like a normal character, and then up to 165% meter gain, which is, very good. However, it takes a very long time to get there. Yeah, and then the next thing that updates is Venerable Deva, which adds the boost to damage cap to fire allies when fire attack is boosted, which is, I believe, a 10% damage cap boost. It does not stack on the MC with Beelzebub, but he has no way of providing fire attack up on his own, so he's going to rely on either Michael or any other character who provides a consistent fire attack up. So the MC with like an Ultima, main hand or something like that. And then here's the level 100. So Chandra Shekhar, 10 hits of fire damage, full restore to every ally's HP, removes all allies' debuffs. So we've seen this button before on Eatromantis. I believe this is also what Zoe's Last Wish does. Not Last Wish, or something Wish. The new Zoe's fourth ability. And then it can't be recast, and it only gets used when Rune Maker's at level 10, which, as we've said, takes 5 CAs. 1, 4, 5, 8, 9. It takes 6 CAs. Sorry. And so this one comes in way, 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 way late. Yeah, Xi'an backline, also as mentioned in chat. So this last one is the point of a bit of contention on him, because, like, given that it requires 6 CAs, there's a lot of the fights in the game are not long enough for this to ever be pressed. And if a fight goes on longer than that, it's very difficult to bring him to those fights. Because it's like he's got a 2 out of 7 team buff here, which helps defense, because you will get the wind damage down, and then the counter does not actually. Actually, no, does the counter go to everybody when he's at Runemaker 7? I have to actually look this up.
I don't know, it just says affects all allies at 7.
Yeah. Let me actually read the notes on the new Vibhuti.
Well, the buff itself is not the counter.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think that the entire counter all along with the Vibhuti goes. But like his team utility is basically this button and then damage cap up.
And damage.
And a lot of damage. Also, his team utility is this permanent debuff right here, which didn't get touched. There are actually, Shiva was one of the earlier permanent debuff characters, and so a lot of like original sacrifices had him press this button, hope it landed, and then kill him. And that one didn't get touched. Skill 2 didn't get touched. Like, this is all concentrated onto passives, how Ruin Maker works, and then the Tandava and this new skill 4. So have you used
the question
this
is that what's such a hard thing to get in fire? You know, attackers. Anyways.
Yeah. So I don't think this really updated him enough to give him like the attack utility spot. Like he gives a lot of cap up, but there's a bunch of other characters that give different ways around cap up that also provide more. Like, you know,
it gives supplemental on CAs along with giving utility. For example,
Michael gives your attacks 20% chaser while also dispelling and delaying and doing things like that.
And the dispel delay is automatic, so it's amazing and Belial.
Yeah. And like the part where you have to CA like 6 or 7 times for a lot of these other effects to come into play, and his extra meter, like, so he's got a natural combo with Michael where Michael will press CA reactivate on him and he starts the fight with 4 Ruin Maker. It'll be 9 more turns until that button's ready again. And so it's like, all right, we're after those 2 CAs. Shiva is now gaining meter like a normal character, but at that point, like, there's so many other characters that could have gotten that 2 CA head start and done a lot more with it.
But at least he's triple attacking.
At least he's triple attacking. But yeah, as mentioned, like people who've been testing him with Kengo and the Kengo meter feed, along with Michael and Michael's uplift, found it to be pretty rough, and it takes a long time. Some full auto folks have been complaining a bit about the Grimnir effect on him, the Valentine's Grimnir / Lobelia effect, where this button he'll attempt to press it every turn until he makes it to actually 10 Ruin Maker, which is different.
Oh yeah, so it wastes a little bit of time. Yeah.
Yeah, which is different from how Zoe and the MC Etramantis work, because they're just on lockout and they just wait until they're no longer on lockout to be pressed, as opposed to this one where he tries to press it every turn for, however many turns it takes for him to get to those 6, which is going to be like in a full auto situation where you're not pressing Michael button on him, it's going to be a long time.
I actually really don't like how his upgraded Ogi CA is still not very good. All it does is increase your Windmaker timer.
Hmm.
The base Ogi is to cut your skull cooldowns.
Right, and that doesn't really do that much for him, as we mentioned, because his gaps are still very long, and the
Yeah, but
CA,
you also just not actually do it as a
yeah,
result because it's not annihilating lightning that's happening. It's the new one.
yeah,
So you're
that's
not getting
true.
another set of skill cooldowns cut.
The reactivate only cuts it by 1 and not by 2, which is what you would want out of reactivating a skill cooldown reduction.
Yeah.
See Golden Knight.
And then
So,
also when you're reactivating it, you're using up the assassin, you know?
mhm. The whole thing around here is basically that it's improved, but I don't think it's modernized enough to actually like do anything unless you just love using Shiva, which there's a lot of people who love using Shiva, and he's still usable, but we can definitely tell the age on this character. Yeah, there's a bunch of different ways they could have done this, but they didn't touch skill 1 and they didn't touch skill 2. They instead tried to improve like the really bad button. But
And I don't
anyway,
think it's enough, to be
yeah,
honest.
yeah. I'm gonna level into 100. I'm going to enjoy the story, and also this art is amazing. Like I can't gush enough about this art. Like over on the Fest merchandise side, which we'll be talking about later in the week, um, we're getting like high quality print and stuff like that. It's like I cannot wait until we get this as a print. That'll be sick. Like this art is so good, and this uncap is not enough. Well, we've got 3 to 4 more uncaps later this month, so we'll see how those 3 to 4 go. All
Yeah.
right, next up, what do you want to do? We've
Uh,
got
let's see finish characters first.
okay. So, um, the third character who was released on New Year was a fantasy series character, a series character who I find hilarious.
The
So,
pioneer of an era. It's Ultimate Friday.
she's she's Fantasy Friday because she's got a robot. She's in the transformed Shried Shrimp.
She's always
And
had the robot though.
she always has had the robot, but her summer version didn't, ride the robot. And
No, instead we get ride the robot now.
yeah. So the one thing that you need to know about Ultimate Friday as a character is that every single one of these things just gets better on Friday.
JST.
JST only. So, um, it's like the Loane Bros, where the Loane Bros get better at night, but hers is specifically on Friday JST, just like Summer Friday. Um, and every single one of these becomes crazy strong, and we're wondering what'll happen if Unite and Fight with Wind prelims happens on a Friday, because she will absolutely make it on those days when she does, if she does, get to play on a Friday with in prelims. It's it's hilarious. All right, so here are the things that Ultimate Friday does, and then we'll chime
Talk
in with
about the Friday
the
effect
Friday
afterwards.
effect. So we're gonna go top to bottom this time. So CA, just do your standard win damage, and then it's defense down.
It's a 30% local defense down.
So that's one of the things that makes her really good at lowering the bar for um, a unite and fight like meat farm thing. So 30, like Lyria was an attack down with like a huge amount of damage and a small defense down. Um, and Friday is basically Mega Lyria because on Friday it's unworldly damage. It's damage cap 3 million ish with the
Premium Night
multiplier.
forever.
Yeah, and it still does the defense down, by the way.
Yeah,
Uh,
unworldly's really good, especially when you're not having that many good weapon multipliers going on.
mhm. All right, so next up we've got Eliminate Work as a skill. So 7 hits of wind damage,
That's pretty
another
good.
another defense down.
And this is a stackable 10% win defense down, stacks up to 30.
hmm on Fridays, it is 14 hits
Because
in
it
the
casts
element
twice.
with
Yeah.
with elements with Eoyar's beak, So that's gonna do a whole lot of damage on Friday. It's already
Also
doing
removes
it.
2 buffs from all
Yeah,
foes.
it does so much on Friday. All right, next up we have Beyond the Fry, which is a boost to her specific attack, defense, CA damage cap, and gives her 30 meter.
And the numbers are 3% perpetuity, 30% defense, 50% CA damage, and 30% CA damage cap.
And
And on Friday, it affects everybody. Well, specifically wind allies.
yeah,
We have to
and
add
that
these clauses in here.
yeah. Then we've got the fantastic shedding. It gives her a full heal. It removes her own debuffs, and on Fridays is everybody. We got 2 characters in the course of a week who can full heal your entire team.
Except this one's recastable.
Yeah, but on Fridays only. The funny thing is she does it in wind, which is already the element that could do it. Like it's been able to do it for the longest with the monkey.
Yeah,
It
but
has
Monkey
no
also has a downside on you.
a pretty significant downside, it must be noted. But
Like a
yeah,
defense down and debuff resistance down. This is pretty bad.
yeah. Um, and so yeah, this one only on Fridays gives your entire team the sauce, and since it's green, you only press it when you want to, and you don't accidentally auto it. It's like, oh, okay. Um, but yeah, like then the last one is Invoke Holiday, supplement CA damage.
That's whatever. It's 100k.
Yeah, this is by the way like about the same number that Transcended Seiphon does. This is more of a knock on Transcended Seiphon than it is um, a like boost to uh, Friday stock. And then
However, eliminate work on special cast.
yeah, so that's the other thing is that even if she's not CAing in your um like your night and fight meat farm, she'll do a 14 hit nuke.
7 hit on not Friday, which is still
7 hit on
pretty
not
good.
Friday. Yeah. And it's like, yeah, okay. All right, you do you Friday. This package is hilarious and I honestly they knocked it out of the park with this design.
You know,
I can't
she turns from a good character, like a good, decent character, to an amazing character on Fridays.
It's so funny. Like I look at this and I just start laughing. It's like the expectations are different between this character and like um a Shiva style like grand character and stuff like that, but it's like they knocked it out of the park. It's funny, it's strong, it's
It's Friday.
it's Friday. Good job, Friday. Her Fate episodes are alright. I need to run them. I'll do that today.
I haven't pulled her. I'll eventually get her.
Yeah. I mean, she's not a priority character to get. I just because I sparked on New Year's Day, she was right up, so I got her. All right. So that's Friday. Should we go over to the last element of the New Year's releases?
Let's go to light.
All right. We were starting with light and not water. All right. So because of Yatima getting released, um, I compare Granblue Fantasy to a card game a lot, and sometimes a card comes out that
Oh,
absolutely
I thought we were
breaks an
talking
old
about
card.
Makura.
Oh, whoops. We're gonna talk about Ding Dong for a second. Sorry.
All right, you talk about this. I'm gonna go eat.
Yeah, go ahead and eat. But yeah, like when Granblue Fantasy as a card game, sometimes something new comes out that completely breaks something else, and they have to they have to shuffle. They have to scramble. And so the scramble in this case was a combo with Bellringer Angel and Yatima, where like Yatima is a super strong summon. We'll go into her for a second, but there was this combo specifically that Yatima would copy Bellringer Angel. You would take turn-based damage, and it would pop the old shield, which let her reuse a random summon, which was Yatima, because Yatima was your only summon on cooldown. And so you could loop Beelzebub, which was already stupidly strong. But the thing that probably got this combo nerfed was that you could loop Titan and be unkillable. And so Yatima being whenever we've had this kind of combo going on, the free one will be the one that gets nerfed. And so Bellringer Angel got nerfed to be um, unresummonable, but also got super mega buffed because before she gave you a small um, shield.
Like 1500.
Yeah, it was too easy to pop. So this time she just says one hit of unchallenged to everybody. So as a free to play summon, she's actually one of the best free summons in the game now because you can just use her to eat Skyfall. You can eat Paradise Lost with her. Like, good job, Ding Dong. If you reduce, like, the thing is, this is not reducible. So if you reduce yours, you can talk to support and they will give it back to you. I don't think it was ever reducible for Bellringer Angel. You can't reduce and you can't sell this one. Anyway, yeah. Who will win, the Disciple of Earth or a Ding Dong? Definitely Ding Dong. All right. Um, do you want to go back to the character, or should we go straight into Yatima now?
You might as well just keep talking about Yatima.
All right. So let's talk about Yatima. The reason that Bellringer Angel had to get changed like this is because Yatima came in and does something that no other summon has ever done before. So
First, she acts out like Lyria.
she is actually Lyria. So, Lyria is the girl in blue. Her Yatima's epithet is she's the girl in red. So, I only have the 1-star version. I'm waiting for more free rolls to come through in a couple months, and then we'll see if I roll extras. But anyway, so here's her effect. I'm going to go read from the 4-star version. She gets a sub aura. The sub aura is that you can call 2 summons a turn. So, as a sub aura, she lets you do what Lyria gives you.
It does not
Uh,
stack, by the way.
mm-hmm. So her on call, this is the broken part. This is the stuff that we've never seen before. So at 4 stars, it's a 1 turn cut to everybody's skill cooldowns,
Pretty good.
which is very strong. It activates the call effects of 2 of your equipped main summons at random. You cannot, the caveats on this are you cannot use one-time summons, which is why Bellringer Angel was changed to one-time use. You can't use the sub-aura ones. So in order to make her not call Belial, for example, you put her down there. Well, actually, Belial's a one-time
I
anyway.
actually have a list of all the rules
Mm-hmm.
pertaining to this.
Yep, keep going. All right, go for it.
Okay, first rule: only main sub summons can be randomly activated. Support/friend summons will not.
Mm-hmm.
One-time summons will also not be activated.
Yep.
Summons equipped in sub aura do not activate.
Mm-hmm.
Calls that do not have an additional effects will not be activated, aka summon calls that only do damage, and that's it.
Yeah, those are very rare these days, so but it is still a rule.
5. If duplicate summons are equipped, only one of them is eligible to be activated. 6.
Yeah.
If one of the summons is selectable after the rules above, the summon will only activate once.
So because she
Also,
is
fun
go
things
ahead.
is that if a summon uses a resource like Juanito's summon, it
Mm-hmm.
will consume it.
Yeah, because the call is what checks for that resource for that and Gorilla. Anyway, go ahead.
Summons that don't just deal call damage can still occur, like Beelzebub, like we said earlier, doing the plane damage effects.
Mm-hmm. And so, um, because she is a boost to all elemental attack, she is 140%. She has some use as the main because then you can summon her on turn 1. Summoning her on turn 1 has some really funny combos. Like, you can have her summon the sun and red hair on the same turn as your main summon with one button press, which can do some really silly things. Like the possibilities for this are insane and will only grow as we get more summon calls. They have to just make the no summons that can only be used once is sort of the safety valve. So she can't Typhon, she can't Keelan, she can't Huanglong, but the number of things that she can do, which are nuts, are things like Bahamut, Transcended Bahamut. Um, whatever happens when Lucifer gets transcended.
Her Bahamut's
Bit,
pretty good.
yeah, yeah. Like, she can, like I said, she can summon like um the red hair series to give you chaser plus another one. Like she can summon the Arcarums multiple times. Don't do this with Death, by the way. You should never have her equipped with Death at the same time. But yeah, this is all insane.
Just put Death in the sub slot.
Yeah, put Death in the sub slot. Do not put Death in grid with Yatima in there. Using Death sounds incredibly funny. I mean, I'm sure that there will be some combo in the future that uses this. I am absolutely sure of this. That at some point in a short fight, you will summon Death multiple times by using Yatima. Or just on turn one, and then you use it with Zernitra for Chaser along with the Death Call. I don't know. But yeah, this summon's cool. We're always going to have the like, what can Yatima do with this? The same way that like Keelan used to. Keelan is used to just say, what can Keelan do with this for resets or just doing things twice in the same turn. All right. Speaking of combos, what you originally meant for us to go to, light characters, the bunny, the
Yeah.
divine general.
Yeah.
You want to take over on this one, DJ? Are you?
Ben's cool. Anyways, so this character is pretty much reliant on her first two skills of the Link skills.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty much like Yule and Sochie, actually.
Mm-hmm.
It will end upon taking each one of them will end upon taking two damage, 2 instances of damage. That isn't a dot, by the way. I found out. Thank God.
Yeah.
And you will then do Herring Escape to switch it over and give that character those buffs. So what do these do? Can you read it out because I'm still eating?
Yeah. Okay. So Nito Tsuiso, which like cultural thing. There's a saying that says a hunter who chases two hares will miss both. Will never catch either. And so this is about that literally means chasing two hares. So anyway, so it gives her the following things: hostility is boosted, double
About
strike.
the
Oh, go ahead.
hostility boost is about 57% chance of being hit or
Mm-hmm.
targeted, rather.
Uh, on attacking, deal 4 hits of light damage plus do a stacking attack defense down.
So that one is like what's his face? Valentine's Aglovale, where it's 5% each each time it's casted, up to 40%.
It's basically like Grand Lancelot that also debuffs at the same time too. So like it goes swing, nuke, or because she gains meter as normal, then she will actually do sometimes CA swing nuke or swing nuke CA or something like that. And then just like you will associate, it has the whole thing where if you already have the buff, it will not be pressed again because this is a linked skill. So here's Hana Orimito. It's defense way down, dodge up.
70%, by the way, defense down.
Mm-hmm.
50% dodge.
4 hits of light damage and a delay when you dodge, specifically. And then can't use this while in effect. And then also ends on taking damage twice. And so the thing about this is that you really, really, really don't want to get hit. And the person that you switch to also doesn't want to get hit. And 50% dodge is actually like it's good, but it's not going to be good enough to keep these buffs on you. And there's no way to restore them on the character she switches to. So we'll keep that in mind for looking at the rest of this kit. And then as you said, switch positions with Herring Escape. So you want a character in back to hand off all of these buffs to. She gets something called Jade Moonlight, which gives her an Evoker passive. And when she switches back to the front after switching to the back, then she gets attack up, damage cap up, charge meter gain up, and then also instantly casts both of her linked skills on herself. So if you
So the
can
hopped
find,
up is
go ahead.
100% perpetuity.
Mm-hmm.
30% charge bar gain up, 30% damage cap up, and this doesn't have a limit.
Mm-hmm. And
It'll stay on
so,
her forever until she
so,
dies.
So the thing is that it gives her the evoker passive, but it only works if she's actually cast this skill. So she needs to start in the front, go to the back, and then return to the front in order for this to happen. Um, and so, like, already there's just like a whole bunch of gears in motion. And then the other thing is she actually starts with another set of buffs that she hands off, which is also important for any character who suddenly has 70% defense down. So she starts with Undying, one hit of Unchallenged, and then if she's ever in the red, and she hands this off as well, she gets a full heal, a debuff remove, and all of her skills come back.
If it passes off to the ally gets that too.
Yeah. And so the combos that I've seen with her so far, and people have zeroed in on these very quickly, are characters who already dodge a lot. Um, and the ones that I've looked at so far, the main ones are Zoe, Tui-En, and then like there's a side use for Nehan doing it because Nehan also provides dodge and does things on dodge. Does he provide dodge or does he just hold on? Let me look again. No, he just has a high dodge on his own. Sorry. But the Nehan thing, I've looked at it and it's fine, but the Zoe combo is way more fun to me because all of these things, when handed off to Zoe, Zoe's dodge gets very close to 100%. The double strike on her and the multi-attack up on her helps her get to her dodge all on CA a lot more often.
Yeah.
She already does a nuke on dodge. And she gets meter from the dodge, which once again feeds into her dodge all. So Zoe can keep this the two bunny buffs up for a very, very, very long time.
Yeah. She's really good at that.
Yeah. Then handing it off to Tui-En.
Oh, that one's the funnier one.
This one is crazy, crazy because we've been saying this for years. What's the biggest problem with Tui-En? She can't multi-attack.
Multi-attacking.
Yeah, she can't multi-attack to save her life, which changes like her CA is super strong because as you transcend her, she gets a supplemental damage debuff on Clincher, and she wants to cast Clincher as many times as possible, which is enabled by her CA, and so she'll get to cast this twice every time she CAs, etc., etc.
At 120, she actually gets a natural dodge rates from
Yeah,
debuffs existing on the foe.
yep,
It only goes
there
up
it
to
is.
30%, but it exists.
So she has a 30% chance to dodge, a 50% chance to dodge. These are calculated separately.
The
She,
button to dodge
she has the
on a
button
5
to
turn.
dodge. Yep.
And when she's 150, she also delays
She delays
on dodge.
on dodge and does a nuke. So if she dodges, she double delays with the bunny buffs. It's
Granted, if she gets hit, she's probably going to die because she has 70% lower.
well, she's going to get hit into the red and then heal back to full and get her skills back, which gives her the dodge again and another clincher. It's so fun. And
The
then
funnier one is
mhm.
actually Nicholas.
Oh yeah. Nicholas is a really good one because when he turns into a robot, the robot also keeps the buffs. So the super mega buff Grand God Kaiser gets double strike.
Yeah, it's really
And
funny. I love it.
it's so funny. I love this one, yeah. And yeah, he like Nicholas also has a dodge all that with a unfortunately a pretty long cooldown, but I mean, it saves him from a bit. Like the other things that I've been doing to preserve the buff on characters since they can't get it back, put them on teams with like Kumbira, Vera, whoop, forgot to turn on light. Like Kumbira and Vera both take the heat off of the character for a pretty long time. Kumbira less consistently, Vera much more consistently. Um, Especially since yeah, Vera has a sub all that lasts multiple
That's
turns.
3 turns.
Yeah.
Usually by the end of Vera's like dodge all, pretty much,
Hmm.
you would end up using one turn if you're just full autoing. You will use
Mhm.
one turn if you get targeted, which is likely to happen.
Mhm.
You will take your unchallenged pretty much. Have one more turn, and then you will switch off.
Mhm. And so like all of these things have been super fun and cool. Like I'm using Bunny into Twayan, I'm using Bunny into Zoe. I've tried the Bunny into um, Nicholas thing, and it's just as fun as you expect. There's
He does
actually a
have a natural dodge rate. He
yeah,
does.
there is a secret, not that secret, the thing. Like so she has to go from front to front to have two characters with all of these buffs. And there is a natural way to do it in light, and that is to have Geisenborger turn on I'll Bet My Soul and never buff him. The timing works out almost perfectly. So it takes 5 turns for her to switch to the back. Geisenborger, over here, when he bets his soul, has a 5 turn timer until he dies. So at the end of turn 5, as long as you don't buff him at all after he bets his soul, will automatically die. And then that is the turn that Makura has switched to the back. So he will die on time. She will switch to the front. You now have two characters who have permanent, semi-permanent double strike, who will nuke after their um, who will nuke after their normal attacks. They will dodge and nuke on delay. Well, not delay. They will dodge and nuke. It's like it's super funny.
I mean,
Admittedly,
the
you
delay is on the dodge.
yeah. Admittedly, they lose the ability to take, you know, a maximum of 10,000 damage. So you might want to resurrect him so that he stays in the back so that whenever they take a hit, they don't just immediately go down to nothing. But that option is there too, and it's also seeing use. Um, but there's just like this is all based on the design of Bunny, and it's super cool. Like I love this design.
And well, if you love dodge tanking, this is the go-to.
I am a huge fan of dodge tanking. Um, but yeah, like it's pretty reasonable to see this thing like go to turn 20 something. Uh, that's how far it lasts me in like Osiris. And Osiris attacks AoE, and it's just like yeah, I can keep this up for a very long time, and maybe eventually someone will die and she'll come back out and do this again. Um, I adore this design. I hope that they do variations on it because I wish
They
that
they were smart though in Herring escaping a one-time only,
yep,
because it would be stupid if you could loop this.
yeah. It would also be annoying because you're like, yeah, she's super powered. I've gotten her back in the front. Oh, she's gone again. Damn it.
Well, you give that next character hopped up though, and that'd be
True,
sick.
true. Um, but yeah, like this is super fun. Like it works super well with everything because she's when you have permanent double strike, then you're gaining more meter. She's let's see here.
Something I
What's up?
realized we didn't talk about Queen of Rabbits that well. That's
Yeah,
pretty good. That's a pretty good one in a Harmonia grid.
deal multi attacks and her normal attacks are split, so she works super
Yeah,
well with chasers. She works super well with
like I was just saying these two 400k strikes with
yeah.
chasers.
So I'm actually looking and the yeah. So she works really well with supplemental damage, not just with Harmonia, but with like Twayan's debuff or Haluel Maluel's debuff. Um, she works well with CA because she gains insane amounts of meter. She works with skill because of the supplemental damage things. She
Yeah, and
works with attacks.
her
Yeah.
skill damage is from both either dodging or attacking.
hmm She works well with autos just because, well, I mean, have you seen the fact that she has permanent double strike? It's
Yeah.
there's so much going on here. I'm absolutely in love with this character. I am laughing that she just has so many triple attack nodes because
I
I
mean,
know
she can't use DA, so
she can't use DA, so they had to replace it. But it's like, look, these are very, very, um, like, I don't even know why I'm giving her defense up. She gives herself minus 70 anyway. But like, yeah, these are very single-minded EMPs here. It's pretty funny. But yeah, Yeah, there's a bunch like she pulled a couple of characters out of irrelevance into not irrelevance out of she pulled them into 2023. I am a big fan of that design, making more characters viable rather than just replacing a character. I
Yeah.
hope they do more things like that.
Oh, she's Katana. So she even works well with Nicholas in that regard too.
Oh, there's so much going on. There's so much going on here. I absolutely love it. All right. So that is the new releases, including the 5-star of Shiva. We got bunny and bunny combos. All right. So the thing that we were going to do that we keep getting delayed about because it's pretty low priority, we're gonna go down the list of the weapons that were released at the end of December and just talk about how ridiculous they all are because they're all ridiculous. And that is,
Let's go by elements.
yeah, we're just gonna go down the list because it's listed by element. So the illustrious weapons. So we've got ourselves 12 new toys, and every single person who makes videos about Granblue Fantasy has been checking these out and using them to various amounts of effect. So, all right, you want to start with you said go down by element, so we're going to start with the Fire Spear, Blazing Mistral. Um,
So all these have unworldly, if I
mhm.
remember correctly.
And then on CA, this boosts the enemy's multi-attack rate. It gives them a buff.
At 4-star, it lowers your MC's cooldowns by 2.
The next thing, so these are all meant to be main hand only. They are never going to go into the grid, basically.
Yep.
So, first thing, Purity of Nature. Every 4 skills that a fire character uses, then it does a Dispel and a 2-hit fire nuke. So
You
it's,
know, we put 2 buffs right there that we could just get rid of.
yeah. But also, there's a cascading effect for that Dispel, because whenever any fire ally removes a foe's buffs, then it does another 2-hit nuke. It heals your team and gives them 10 meter.
All right, all right, all right.
So pretty clear what the purpose of this is. You're going to be using it on like some sort of like Iatromantis or like skill happy fire team, and then
Well,
you're also
that has a spear main hand.
mhm.
So,
And
was it
Apsaris,
Apsaris? Yeah.
Paladin, and Apsaris, Paladin, and Iatromantis basically. But this is its own engine that just wants to get rid of as many, like it's all skill damage. It wants to get rid of as many buffs as possible. And so it's pretty single-minded. Um, so actually, I've seen the least videos about the Blazing Mistral because of this.
Not
Um,
bad though.
it's not bad at all. It's just that Higurashi like is a very like both of the katanas are very clear. Like we had to make katanas this good in order for them to replace the unsigned Kaneshige.
All right, let's look at this one then.
So this one gives dodge all to your MC rather than giving meter to your entire team, but it does other things that help your entire team instead.
At 4-star, it gives you 3.5 turns of Wind Switch.
You being your main character only or your entire team?
Allies.
Yeah. So instead of being an offensive CA, it gives you a defensive CA, which is very strong. Like having wind switch is crazy good. All right. So then, transience of life. This one's the one that gets like a lot of the utility in here. So whenever you do a chain burst, it adds 2 to the number, which matters if you are a Kengo. Uh, does Mirren also care about how many were in a chain?
Yes.
Yeah. So a lot of those characters who care about how many were in chain, like Mirren, will also see this and appreciate it. And
To
then,
note, a chain of
mhm,
1 is not a chain.
right. So you have to have a minimum of 2, which turns it into a 4 chain. So when you do a fire chain burst, um, then you get a boost to everybody's debuff resistance. They get dispel cancel, and they get 10 meter. So that makes up for a bit of the you don't have a Kaneshige in your hands, because that's the 10 meter right there. and then as a passive, it boosts
Oh,
everybody's meter gain. Whoop, go ahead.
the fire chain burst thing is pretty much Octo. It
Mm-hmm.
does like 150
Mm-hmm.
actually,
His 150 ability. Yeah,
because it only lasts that turn.
true. And then and so this is 30% meter gain up, which is hey, that's the Kaneshige buff.
Yeah, pretty good, huh?
And so it is basically Kaneshige plus Transcended 8 plus a dodge all and wind switch. And so this thing sees use in plenty of places. There is anywhere you would normally use a Fire Kenga, which is pretty literally every fight in the game. You can use this. Like you can bring this thing to Super Ultimate Bahamut, the hardest fight in the game, and it does everything that you would want from it. It feeds your character's meter, just like a Kaneshige does. Um, the extra burst, I believe, gives you a little bit more V2 Fated Chain. Let's see, hold on. Does not count as additional charge attacks being performed. Never mind.
Yeah, the fate chain, no, it doesn't.
Yeah, okay. But it gives the dispel cancel part of it means that the buffs that you get from Kaneshige or from being a Kengo at all, sorry, uh, they're at maximum effect from being +2 to chain burst, and they don't go away from dispels because you get a dispel cancel as part of it. And so this thing is custom designed for hard content use and does really well there. So, I was half
All right,
expecting you
next
to remove.
one.
Yeah, anyway.
I don't know how to pronounce this.
I'm just calling it water gun.
That's not. There's a lot of water guns. You have to be specific.
Water luminous gun.
You know. All right, you got me there. Except it's called illustrious in English. Got him.
Boom. You got me. All right. So this one, the CA ignores mirror
Yes.
image and
Yeah, six
dodge.
rifle. Yeah, six rifle bullets.
Yes, it has 6 rifle bullets, and actually that thing makes it even better, by the way, because
I
I will tell
know.
you know exactly how the loadout looks for it, right?
Yeah, I do. I know
It's
what a railgun looks like.
it's 5 Beelzebub bullets and one Super Ultimate Bahamut bullet at the end, or the Bahamut bullet at the end. It's so funny. But this one is also very easy to figure out and very prone to combo videos. It's super funny. All right, so when it's your main hand, you get no meter gain
Oh yeah, I
at
forgot to
all.
say that the CA 4-star is 25% uplift.
Yeah, which is very significant given that you need this in order to actually be able to do anything with this second part, the no charge bar when you attack. But you get uh, 30% amped damage on those attacks,
Yep.
and they deal 4 hits.
You know that's pretty good in Quick Grid.
hmm The next one is also your attacks have bonus water damage, so it's actually 8 hits of damage. It's 80% chaser passively to your entire team.
Of water allies, yeah. It's pretty good. Oh yeah,
Uh,
also you want to talk about the third one?
So then you get supplemented damage to all water allies. You get
100%. Not 100%, 100K.
100k, 10% damage cap up,
Sure.
and a minus 100% DA, minus 100% DA.
You know, that's not a you know, there are words that say guaranteed triple attack, you know.
So, for example, if you use this with Lancelot in your team, then he will still double attack all the time because he literally can't do anything else. He's not allowed by the rules of the game to do anything but double attack. And
Unless it
then
likes a field effect, you know.
um, so he gets supplemented damage on his split autos and his 4 hit nuke after he does his normal attack. He will do an additional chaser on his split autos. It's there's just so much there's like the amount of damage that you do with this gun is insane.
Uh, by the way, I need to redact my statement about crit grid. It doesn't matter
Yeah, you're
because
just
the
doing
hundred
so
percent,
much damage.
the 100K supplemental damage is right here,
Mhm.
so they don't stack.
Mhm. But yeah, um It's like the fact that you put in 5 bullets in this thing, if you are a uh, soldier, and then you just hit um, the I can't remember the name of the button that just has you shoot all of your bullets in a turn. Like the combos that you do with this thing do insane crazy damage, and then people actually have had an extra laugh because it affects your counters also, and so you just do insane amounts of counter damage also. It's funny. It's super funny. And yeah, Relic Buster can do crazy things with this because you just can blitz rate it. Um, so either gun is equally insane with both Relic Buster and Soldier. Like each of them uses this in crazy ways in different ways. It's crazy. It looks super fun. If I get one of these, it's probably this one. Just to let you know.
I see.
All right. Next up, we have the other Kaneshige replacement, the Shishio.
This one's amazing. This one's crazy. All right,
I
on CA it delays. 4-star, it heals you for 3k and gives you 15% meter.
mhm. So once again, that's how it replaces Kaneshige. Everyone just gets 15 meter when you do this. However, then whenever you use the skill in slot 1, it eats 10% of your HP, which
That's
doesn't matter that
whatever.
much. If you're a Kengo, that basically um, you heal back from the fact that pressing skill 1 gives you this again, your CA again.
And CA reactivate too, so you're healing 6,000.
Mhm. As Crucior, it's like you quote unquote only get 80% meter out of this pressing this button for skill 1.
But you don't want to CA after that though,
Mhm.
because then you don't use this CA effect because you're
Yeah.
switching your CA.
Yeah. So this is Kengo only basically. Or Runeslayer. That's
Slayer can
fun
use it
too.
because
Yeah.
you can although you cast something that's not the meter not the instant CA.
Mhm. And right now, Runeslayer is mostly used for the instant CA, but we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens as we get to Runeslayer part 2. Who knows? And then this is the last one. So everybody takes damage every turn. Is it 5%?
It's 1%.
It's 1%. That's so little. Um, and then in exchange for that damage getting taken, you get 15% meter to your entire team every turn, and
No,
they
no
get
questions
boosted.
asked.
Yeah, and then they get um, CA damage up every turn and CA
Stackable
damage up.
to 100 and stackable to 50 for a cap.
And it can't
It
be
also can't
removed.
be removed.
Yeah.
So,
And then
yeah, no, the videos I saw with this was the Belial solo, and it
mhm,
was amazing.
yeah, there's so much you can do with this one. Once again, because Kengo is such a good late game class, you can bring this once again to all of the hardest fights in the game, and you'll be doing just fine.
The meter it gives you CA loop easily in the ladder now. It's not like
Yeah.
you couldn't do it easily before. All it required was 2 characters.
hmm All right. We have the Hrunting. Um, so the Hrunting is one of those like, hey, so we heard that you didn't like the dagger that comes from Siegfried. Well, here's a mega version of it. All right. So its CA is blood sacrifice to your entire team, which is
So
they gain.
1,000 damage for 3 turns
hmm But they also get 2,000 damage mitigation at 4-star for that
for
turn.
that turn.
hmm So you've basically made up for it as long as they're even getting looked at by the enemy. All right, here's the main hand stuff. So there's a Savage Mythology buff that you start with.
All right, this one lowers your HP by 3,000 cap
hmm
each turn. 30% attack up, 250% defense up, double strike
Two,
effect.
250% defense
Oh
up.
yeah, also that dot is going to be reduced by abandoned rule.
So all of your allies take less turn-based damage which is 50%. So instead of actually being a 1000 dot, it's actually a 500 dot from the CA. And then when they take turn-based damage, they gain a chaser for the next turn.
A one-time chaser of 30%, which is good because you're taking a dot every turn pretty much.
Mm-hmm. And so this one goes for auto teams, and Earth is really good with those as well. And yeah.
Yeah, that's about it. That's what this does.
Mm-hmm. It just does damage. Like
Take dot, do damage.
take dot, do damage. The Andromeda Harp is probably the lowest downside, which is funny to me. So all right, Andromeda. So it's CA, you get special buffs to everybody when you CA with it. And as a harp class, you're going to be doing it a lot because
Yep.
um, Rising Force is a thing that exists, but also Lumberjack is no slouch.
4-star, you also heal and also get uplift.
Yeah, which lets you CA again with this thing. All right, so skill, Cepheid Variable. It gives your entire team permanent dispel cancelable, cancel. And then if you have 10 or more buffs, which is very easy to do as a harp class or just as Earth in general,
Yep.
then you get a stackable damage cap up. I'm still wondering about the name Galactic Bulge. Like they had to know exactly what they were doing for this. But anyway, when your MC has 10 or more buffs, which is going to be very easy to do because you are
A
a
harp
harp
class.
class and your buffs can't be removed, then you have CA reactivate, which means that, well, the heal happens twice. Everything else doesn't really matter that much when it happens twice. But yeah.
Uh, hey, I like Diantha, you know?
I understand that. We're gonna be talking about merchandise on Thursday, and we can talk about
Hey,
how
I like
much.
Diantha. Just saying, guys.
Spoiler for Thursday's episode when we do this, and
Spoilers to my wallet next week.
25,000 yen. But I mean, I don't blame
That's
you.
worth it to me.
Yeah. All right. So the Rumfire here is the one that I also tied for like the least videos I've seen of it. So here's Wind Spear. We've talked a lot about Wind Spears before. There's no shortage of these things, and like most of the ones that we see, it goes back to Lupercalia if you have the choice. Otherwise, people use the Opus. All right.
First off, CA 15% chaser to everybody for 3 turns. I'll add 4-star. It gives you crit rate up and keen.
So
Hmm.
when you look at this thing, it just screams at you, "Hey, did you like Grimnir? Well, how about if we made you into Grimnir too?" Well, what if there was a second Grimnir and it was in your MC slot? Because hey, look, it's like
Granted, the crit rate is actually different than Grimnir's.
that is fair. But yeah,
But yeah, you're
Cyc
Grimnir.
you're Grimnir. Cyclonic Strike. Deal triple attacks, low charge bar gain, and you do 3-hit damage on a normal attack to random foes. That's Valentine's Grimnir.
Is the exact Grimnir.
And then main weapon, sharp boost to MC's attack. When allies deal 40 or damage 40 or more times to the current target in one turn, which is a variation on Grimnir's passive that gives him a cyclone when
For
you do
30
was 30
hits.
hits. Yeah. Um, and so between the fact that you have 15% bonus damage and you're doing minimum 18 hits a turn as yourself by attacking, and then Grimnir will be another 18 hits. You're just as long as the other person is not two Astariolas, then you're doing this. You're getting this, and you're
That's discounting the fact that Grimnir still has a button to press.
yeah. Like you just have 18 hits with Chaser, or no, because of the Chaser before anything else comes into play, and the next turn it's Assassin. It's like yeah, all right, two Grimnirs.
Hey, this Grimnir does damage on CA though.
Yeah, that's true. Here's Murcielago. It has to compete with Hercules in order to be a thing.
And it's not a bad weapon.
It's not. All right. So, um, On CA at 4 stars, you not only get drain for everybody, and the drain is 1k, but you also get the special delay, and if you get the special delay, then you get 30% meter out of it, similar
You know,
to
we're
acrobatic
just
volley and
getting
all
it
the
back.
others. Yep. So already, it's an attack-based bow for there. When it's a main weapon, when a wind ally drains a foe's HP at all, aka attacks after you've CA'd, then that ally gets 20% meter and supplemental CA damage. It only activates once per turn per ally.
You know, it's fair.
Yeah.
Since you can double strike.
Right. And then here's the second one. This one's rarer. When a wind ally drains a foe's charge diamond, which is the CA here, then it does 6 hits of plain damage
So
and a
it's not
debuff.
supplemented.
Mm-hmm. And it removes a buff, so it dispels once, and it gives you a random debuff from the list of
Toyen.
attack down, defense. What? Toyen?
Not Toyen. Not Toyen.
You
Tien.
mean Zoe? Or Tien? Yeah,
Tien.
attack down permanent,
It's permanent.
attack down permanent, defense down permanent, debuff resist down permanent, or special attack down, the damage down permanent. Um, I'm trying to remember what other, um, like
Lulu.
special. Well, no, I'm thinking about special deblays in Wind specifically.
Uh, Normal Grimnir.
Regular Grimnir, that's right. So, well,
Because he
we'll check.
drains.
Yeah, we'll check back in on this weapon when normal Grimnir gets his 5-star because they started with the Shiva series. So, yeah.
Urius.
Ooh, that's right. Let's go
Krugne.
Urius. Move on. Move on from Krugni. I don't. We don't talk about it in this
It's
house.
listed as this right here. Your MCCing with that bow.
Acrobatic volley as well, I think,
Let me check. It might not count as the same.
as a special. Acrobatic volley. What does the text on it say? Delay special. So you get 2 of these if you're Robin Hooding with this thing. It's pretty nice. How good is this in Kengo? Not as good as it is in Robin Hood.
Yeah, no, it's
Don't do this as a Kengo pretty much.
just put a Kanashiki in your
Actually,
hand.
it's actually still decent though because it replaces the meter that you get from Kaneshige things with when anybody attacks after you've CA'd, then they still get meter out of it. So, I mean, it's very solid. But is it worth 150 moons as a Kango's main hand? I don't know about that one. This one you do for Robin Hood things. It's time for Hunting Viking. I mean, Hunting Viking is the standard build for hunting.
All
The
right,
fact that
next
it's a
one.
oh yeah. All right. Anyway, next one, Futsunomi Tama. All right.
All right, did
Go
you
ahead.
like what's his face? That guy who double attacks a lot? Because we put him in light, and it's you.
Oh, you mean Grand Lancelot?
Yeah.
Yeah. You just turn into Grand Lancelot. It's even a dagger. It's like this is gonna turn into Dagger's thing. So, it gives you so it's 2 Thunderstruck when you CA, which doesn't really do anything in light right now. So we'll move on from that.
Well, you also get a 4-star, 15% chaser for
Yes.
everybody.
Which matters for the Thunder God Subjugation, which we'll get to soon. When it's the main weapon, you do 4 hits of light damage to everybody, and you gain Thunderstruck when you use skill 1. And as Dagger, like, let's see, that's Masquerade's dodge ability, it's Chaos Ruler's delay.
I would love it on a Chaos Ruler because it has lower skills compared to the normal.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, that's true. It's only a 4-turn cooldown on that thing.
Yep.
All right, and then Thunder God Subjugation. When somebody's Thunderstruck is 7 or more, then your normal attacks act like Glaciate 7 on Grand Lancelot. You get all of those hits of skill damage when you attack. And so, your Harmonias in the world, all of the things that we talked about with Bunny apply here. So I'm excited about this being just Dagger's thing. It's like, yeah, maybe you're gonna attack a lot of times and just do supplemental extra damage at the end. Yeah, we'll come back to this one with Owlbear and the Levin Sisters rebalance when they do more stuff with Thunderstruck. This is true. This is
Yep.
true. The
Anyways, that's
gold,
all about this one.
yeah, the Golden Fists of Ura.
Once again, I'm scared of the face on this thing.
That's meant to be there. That's meant to be how you react to that, because even that Ura is a demon. So anyway, um, so on CA you get Substitute. It's not sub all. And you get Armored. So
Question
you
mark on downward.
yeah. I don't think many people have bought this yet and tested it too much. But I enjoyed the videos I saw of it. All right, Ogre's Retribution though. When you take damage, after you have a substitute here, you do a full force counter, and then
3 hits.
after the counter, you do a light nuke. Then, when it's your main weapon as well, everybody's attacks are amplified by 30%,
Yep.
and then
And you take 40% max HP.
yeah, it's the bloodshed effect. It's 2 bloodshed weapons.
All in one.
hmm And so this one is, fist tanking with probably Monk. We'll come back to you when we get to Monk 5 or Lucha 5.
As long as you don't go into red, you're fine with Monk.
hmm
If you go into red, you're sad with Monk.
Yeah, but it's like 80% damage reduction when you press skill 1. So, I mean, you were already giving yourself a bunch of defense-based things on Monk 1. All right.
I thought the reduction was something else in Monk.
Was it?
I'm pretty sure skill 1 was the counter. The
Let me
taking
make
counter.
sure again. Skill 1. You get dodge, tank, and counter. You get martial prowess and extra martial prowess. Oh, the hostilities on unyielding form might be the one that people tend not to take because it gives you hostility.
Yeah.
All
Alright,
right.
Ereshkigal.
Ereshkigal does something that was already being done in Dark, but instead of needing Runeslayer and having the was it Falsehood? I think it's Falsehood chain. It just says, all right, look, we're gonna make sure that you don't get Carpal just mashing Runeslayer CA like instant CA standby every turn. So you start the fight with um, your MC starts the fight with 100% meter,
Yep.
and for the next two turns after that gets meter again.
Cannot be extended.
So what does the CA do? Why is it so important? Because it just gives everybody else double strike, just like the chain.
And in case you're one of those characters in Dark that don't do this, guaranteed TA.
hmm So then you also get amped dark damage or
But
dark normal
30%.
attack damage, and you lose meter gain.
The immunity gain hit is 200%.
Yeah, okay. They've learned that 100% meter down is not enough meter down.
Nope, because, they tried that. And guess what happened? A character exists.
Yeah, we'll see what happens when Vikala gets 5-star also. All right. And then Disease Demon, they're also like, all right, look, your normal attack damage cap goes up, but if you're like 6 or Bowman or something like that, we're also going to lower your skill damage cap because you're already doing ridiculous damage. We're gonna give you at least some kind of token downside. But this one is the one that is the most practical in everyday use because you
It
can
is a
use it,
berserker weapon instead of a Viking weapon half the time, though.
which is funny. That's true. Um, but you take your normal pack of dark nuts who have their own chasers and whatever, and then you just give them double strike every turn for 3 turns, and then you probably go off and do something else. Like this kills every sandbox boss. You use it in like it was all. This is already what was being done in Akasha to farm honors as fast as possible. You bring it to every gold brick raid to. So if you're a gold brick farmer, this is the one that everybody's zeroed in on. And then the last one, Zosimos, the one that I mentioned a couple episodes ago, where it just grabs you by the shoulders, shakes you, and says, "Wait for Warlock 5." Because like it works with crests in such a way that, well, we'll see what happens when Warlock 5 comes later this year, because my personal assumption is that we get Warlock 5 as announced at Granblue Fest.
All right, here's the list of Dark Crest characters, by the way. Halloween Cagliostro.
Eh.
If you remember this, Forte.
Well,
Summer Magisa and
yes.
Manamel.
Those two are the ones that actually matter the most. Manamel and Summer Magisa are a crazy good combo. But, alright. So, on CA for Visions of Zosimos, you get a 1-turn cut to your MC's skill cooldowns.
Always
And
good.
you get additional damage based on how many crests that you have. It's number of hits, 1 per crest. Then skill 1. Every 3 skills that any ally uses, then everybody gets a Dark Crest and a random buff. The random buffs are
20% Chaser for 3 turns. 10% damage cap up for 3 turns. 10% outlive for 3 turns. A Veil. A Mirror Image. 100% chance to reduce damage by 20% armored for 3 turns.
And if you have all 5 crests, then you get all of them, because it's additional buffs based on the number of crests that you have. And given this is a staff, and yeah, like, you could, I guess, use this as a Neatromantis, or you can wait for Warlock 5. Alright.
Please note that Magisa hits 5 buttons in turn 1.
So, yeah, like, you're guaranteed basically the full crest suite to everybody on turn 1 with this thing, because your MC has 4 buttons, Magisa has 5, Manamel presses, I think, 3 of them. She presses all 3, so that's 9 skills, and then you have a third character in there that does something probably. Anyway, so the last thing is, sorry, no, there's 2 things actually. So when 1 or more Oblivion Crests are given, then you get dark damage to all foes after an attack, and then when you have 5, then it nukes twice.
You know, Mirror Image, not a problem.
Yeah. And then the last thing, so as a main weapon, then anytime that your skill characters are chain bursting, so it's a little extra thing there, then everybody heals up and they get an Oblivion Crest, because I guess.
How you're not at 5 at like turn 2?
Yeah,
Like
seriously.
Really, like really.
Like Magisa and Manamel are absolutely bonkers already. And yeah, this thing has a future, but we'll come
If
back
you're a
to it when.
Warlock, your skill 1 already gives you Oblivion Crest.
Mhm. It's hard for the MC to use those crests yet. Like, this gives a use to them, but I'm absolutely sure. Like, I'm willing to bet money on the fact that Warlock will do something with crests when we get to Warlock 5. But that's the 12 illustrious weapons. Every single one of them is seemingly worth the gold moons. The most worth for the gold moons is, of course, Ereshkigal. But each one of these seems
The
like a winner
katanas
so
are
far.
really good.
Yeah, the katanas are crazy good. Both of the water ones are insane. Hunting, yeah, it's so good. All right, that's it for this week. We've made it to almost 2 hours, so we're gonna have to cut this one up. Sorry for the delays, but I'm glad that you're feeling better, DJ.
Yep, I better get better because I'm leaving for Japan next week.
Yeah, so that's the thing, is that this show will be a little weird for the next couple weeks. Like on Thursday, we're doing a normal episode. Then we'll have to figure out what's gonna happen, because we're both in Japan for 3 weeks.
Yep, Thursday night for us is us being at our hotels for Granblue. The
Uh,
following week you're like going to Disneyland, aren't you? Or no, not Disneyland. You're going like Universal, right?
I'm going to a
The following
lot of
week.
places.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to figure something out, or we just won't do it until we get back. I don't know.
Yeah, we both don't get back until like you are like the first week of February, right? Or second week of
Second
February.
week of February, I get back.
Yeah, and I come back after Valentine's Day.
Yeah. So we'll figure something out. Maybe we'll just not do this. Like in previous years when we've gone to Granblue Fest, then this show has just waited.
Yeah, but we also never been out for 4 weeks.
Yeah, that's true. Well, we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. So thanks, guys. See you on Thursday. Sorry that this episode was a bit late. Uh, shout outs to Henry for who's going to be cutting this episode into two pieces for
Thank you,
YouTube.
Henry.
But yeah, next time we'll be talking about Granblue Fest merchandise. Um, mostly about fun stuff, and we're gonna be looking forward to our Japan trip because we're both on the verge of getting there. Like I've almost finished my planning, which is good. I'm excited.
Same.
All right, and with